Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Dr. Roberto DeSena, Dr. Amir Rashidian, and we have Deven with us here. One thing we wanted to talk about is why the term bodybuilding makes some people just kind of glaze over. So we're going to be talking about that next.
Yeah, you're right about that. And you know what? It's a week later, so we decided we'd make sure we wore the same exact clothes, but we just switched spots.
Right.
Just kidding. It's the same day, but we just couldn't stop. We just liked the conversation so much. And my thought process is a lot of people out there, like Doc just said, a lot of people go, bodybuilding's not for me because I'm over the hill. Or I just don't have the knowledge, or I don't think my body would do that, or genetically, you've heard that one before, right? Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah. So I think in order to address the problem, we need to start at the beginning. And for me, perhaps this is one of the things that makes me unique is my approach to bodybuilding. I think a lot of the intimidation can come from people thinking about the extremes, okay? So they think about what's portrayed in the media, they think about what they see on the cover of magazines in the grocery store or pharmacy, for example, and they see the extreme examples of where the sport can lead at sometimes the top level. And that's true, and I think this is very evident in a lot of the female clients that I work with, who, when I'm trying to push them and get them to understand limitations and progress, there's a lot of fight back saying, I don't want to get too bulky, I don't want to get too bulky. And with all due respect, this isn't a process that happens overnight. Correct. It's not like a female is going to wake up a day after training and all of a sudden, she looks like the Incredible Hulk. So it is a process, it is a journey, and it's one that takes time. So the way I like to think about bodybuilding, and the way that I like to apply it to each and every individual case, man, woman, old, young, novice, expert, is to look at it as a metaphor and an approach, okay? We all know if you've lived, any amount of time, you understand that life is fraught with struggle, okay? So metaphorically, bodybuilding can be a metaphor, okay? And what that means is we use the weights as physical representations of adversity and struggle, okay? Awesome. A weight is a way, an implement by which you're going to put your body under stress, okay? You're going to make yourself feel uncomfortable. And this has nothing to do with whether your goal is to be Mr. Olympia or just, have better function. It can be applied to each and every person. It's a mental exercise by which you voluntarily and in a controlled environment put yourself under stress, and you have to become comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's what tends to separate those people that experience success from those people that don't, is the willingness to have the mental fortitude to push through those barriers. I think the term bodybuilding is a little bit misleading because bodybuilding is the end result that comes from strengthening a person mentally and spiritually to be able to get through those barriers, which result in the bodybuilding.
Yes, I love that. Brilliant. And here, a couple things. The human body has the power to regenerate. The University of Maryland Center for Integrative Health did a study where they compared 80-year-olds to 18-year-olds. They said the percentage of muscle gain was the same in the 80-year-olds as the 18-year-olds. They just started with less muscle, the older people. There's a race between Sydney and Melbourne in Australia. It's a big, long, ultra marathon, and it takes several days to run that race. And so the runners actually pack extra pairs of shoes, and they bring food and something to sleep on. So it's a big deal. And they have a plan where I'm going to run 14 hours, I'm going to sleep 30 minutes, I'm going to run another 14 hours, I'm going to sleep 2 hours. We've got it all mapped out. Well, one year, true story, this guy showed up in overalls and boots. Farmer. Had no idea what he's supposed to do. He goes, every year I think about running the race. Today, I decided I'd just show up. I didn't miss it this year. So the gun goes off, he starts going. And he's like, everybody runs. And he's just walking really fast. But he didn't know that he had to sleep. He didn't know that he had to change his shoes. He didn't know he had to stop and rest. He just went. Not only did he set the record for the race, he beat the best runner by hours, because he just kept going. We have no idea what we're capable of. And if your mindset is, I can't do that, I don't have enough, I'll never have, well, listen, you need the knowledge and information, right? Well, someone who's done it, someone knows how to do it, they can teach you. You just got to stop those negative thoughts.
Mental limitations, definitely. I mean, I never heard anyone say, I'm not going to play X sport because I'm not going to make it pro. You still do it anyway. Starting is the first step. So
Yeah, I mean, to extrapolate on that point a little bit further, I think that even in science, we're taught to disregard the outliers, right?
That's right.
So human beings are no different. I think a lot of people, certainly on average, they look at extraordinary examples of human beings.
That's right.
And they immediately discard them as something other, right? It's like, I can never achieve, like just the story of the farmer gentleman who set the ultramarathon record. People, I'm sure, at home will sit here and listen to that and say, there's something extraordinary about that individual that puts him apart from me.
Right.
And what we have to kind of combat against is the realization that those outliers don't need to be disregarded, but rather they should be examples of motivation and inspiration.
Possibilities.
Absolutely. Possibilities of human potential. And it's an exciting possibility. And it's not particular to any age or any group. Everybody has that potential within them.
So Doc, earlier you mentioned we see some injured people.
Definitely. So we have patients come in, injured, my left shoulder, can't do my exercises.
Okay.
What do you say to that?
Well, it's difficult because I have to continue to see things through the lens of a personal trainer, right? Because, as a certified, nationally accredited personal trainer, there are things that I can do and cannot do within my scope of practice. Certainly, I don't want to give the individual more reason to give themselves an excuse not to participate, not to proceed, not to try to make gains and make progress where they can. Because I think that it becomes a crutch for many people. Injuries, acute or chronic in nature, there are reasons and limitations, just like their age, why they can't necessarily do something to the best of their abilities. But what I want to do, and part of the reason that this video series is so exciting to me, is I want to continue to push my relationships with other professionals in the industry and who are dedicated to overall wellness and health of any individual that would walk through either their door or mine. So what that means is I need to be able to, as a professional, understand what's causing the injury, what is within my scope of practice as a trainer, because I do believe that there is a wonderful relationship to be had between your practice and mine that would allow for the best overall success of the individual. So I would strengthen the muscle. I'm not a person of limitation. I'm a person of trying to exceed limitation. So if the challenge I'm being presented with is a left shoulder injury, then I certainly want to find a way to maximize everything that this person can do comfortably and without risking further injury, to allow them to continue to grow, to allow them to continue to feel like they're making progress. Because it's a mental game, and the mental will speak to the physical.
And that's the key word, what you can do, not what you can't.
Right.
So you work with them with other aspects.
Absolutely.
Now, in order, to get them back to functioning how they should as quickly as possible,
right,
where do you think someone like us, and you mentioned on health field, someone like chiropractors, where's our role in that as it pertains to you?
Right, so that's a challenge to me as an individual, and as a professional, to understand my realm and my role, as a personal trainer, because I want to be able to be hyper-focused and hyper-efficient on what it is that I can do and how I can best help you on my phase of your progress path. But what that also means is acknowledging and understanding where my own limitations are. Because there is going to get to a point where, as a responsible personal trainer, I am reaching or exceeding my scope of practice. And what that means is being able to successfully understand and diagnose areas that are outside of my range of expertise. So certainly as these injuries would accompany any sort of orthopedic nature. So it's not a muscular fatigue that we're talking about. It's not something that's within the realm of my expertise, but clearly outside. That's why developing these relationships with you and your team here at Mid-Atlantic is so essential, because now I can understand and help to educate my clients to say, hey, look, maybe we can get you so far, but we can't get you all the way. And in order to get you there and get you to the goals that you want to reach, we're gonna have to bring in outside help from respected, admired professionals.
Definitely.
And that would be our goal as well, right, Doc? Is to keep you going. So many times patients come and say, "Can you write me a note because I want to freeze my membership? I want to stop working out for like 6 months." And why? I mean, motion is life, and life is motion. You don't stop moving. Anytime I've had an injury, I've been able to still go and do something. There's still something you can train, something you can. Absolutely. So it's very, very important. Do you have any other questions?
None on my end. Hit legs when your shoulder hurts.
That's right. That's right. Oh yeah, absolutely. Do some leg press. Deven was gracious enough to give us a gift of a 7-day membership at One Life South Frederick, which is on Buckystown Pike. Please make sure you take advantage of it. All you have to do is mention one of these videos, and then still be on the lookout, because we are going to be digging deeper and deeper into this topic. And in fact, because I'm more than 10 years older than both of them, they're kind of challenging me to maybe do some kind of a workout or something. I already trained with him one time. I think that probably lasted me a few months, but you can tell I put on a lot of muscle from just that one workout. But anyway, so it's a little challenge. We'll tell you more about it on the next video. Be on the lookout, and please share these videos. There's a lot of people who need this information. Thank you.
Thank you, Devin.